you doing? Good morning. You good? Good. How you doing? It's the first time I've actually seen you from this perspective. I'm 5'8". I'm 5'8", man. I can't see like this. No. I don't think I'm any prettier, and I can say that from this perspective, looking out. Everybody good? All right. As some of you know, started this morning on 95th and Dan Ryan, meeting the commuters. Also did 2 radio interviews, WVON and WGN, and then took the train in from 95th and Dan Ryan. And just also was at a fire station on the way here to meet also with workers. Last night, demonstrated there was a diverse coalition from across the city that recognizes the challenges we face and the reforms we need. The page has been turned, and we're starting a new beginning in this city. Our fate as one city is in our hands, and Chicagoans are ready to step up and ensure that Chicago remains a world-class city by making the difficult decisions and choices we have to make as one city. It also doesn't matter to me where you were on election day, because in one way or another, all the candidates talked about reform, and this election is about reform. Throughout the campaign, some of you asked about my style. It's appropriate. I will reach out my hand to everybody to work for reform and enacting reform. Regardless of where you were in this campaign, both as either the candidates, and I had good conversations with a number of them, or who you backed. If you are part of achieving the reforms that are necessary to strengthen our schools, to secure our streets, and to stabilize our economy, you are a partner in this effort to make sure that we turn the page in this city and start fresh and have a new beginning. Now, I look forward to a city council that is a partner in this era of reform. I said it the first time I sat down on an interview. I look for a new partnership, because the challenges are big and they'll require people from all parts of the city to feel like they had a part in solving these problems. And I will work with the City Council in achieving these reforms. The voters were clear. The status quo across the waterfront of issues is unacceptable. Reform is the spirit, the goal, the objective. I am responsible for leading that effort, and I will do that with the City Council as my partner in achieving that. We will do it by being as honest as we were in the campaign about the choices we have to make as a city to achieve the type of things that I think are necessary so Chicago stays what it is, a world-class city with a great future. I've said it before, I'll say it again, and I'll keep repeating it. We face a common set of challenges that require common purpose. Our divisions, our differences are clear. We cannot let them become hardened by making them divisions. I want to thank you, and I'll take questions.
So, Mr.
Jay?
Mr. Mayor, first of all, congratulations.
That sounded so heartfelt, Jay. Thank you.
I speak on behalf of the entire room, Mr. Mayor.
Are you sure you guys want to have a secret ballot on that?
You've laid out a bold and broad-ranging blueprint for reform in Chicago. Looking ahead, what results, tangible results, do you consider non-negotiable at the end of your 4 years to call this first term a success? What still has to be done?
Jay, I haven't even gotten sworn in. But I appreciate how you fast forward to the end of the movie of 4 years, okay? Here, look, I measured the success as I told you. Are we creating jobs in the economy and our neighborhoods where everybody feels like they're part of that economy? That's clearly not true today, which is why when I had my town hall at one of the companies like Google, I said you have a responsibility as a corporate citizen to make sure that people throughout this city, especially our kids in high school and community colleges, feel that Google's part of their future. And I got to tell you, for some of them it isn't. A lot of them, and too many. I do want our schools to be a place where kids are getting a world-class education and moving on so they can go to college. I'm going to be looking for a CEO of our schools. Terry's obviously, as I said before, will be on that list, but I'll be looking at others for a fresh start and a new beginning. Did you say you had something else?
Yes. You say you are not going to raise property taxes 90%, but there's a lot of them between 0 and 90. Is there any level of a property tax increase
No.
you could tolerate?
No.
None.
No. Okay.
Any other source of revenue that you're looking for?
Fran, this is going to be collective bargaining, and the collective will be with the people representing our police, our fires, our teachers, and other unions as we try to work this out. There are parts to this, but I am not looking at a 90% increase in property. I'm not looking at property taxes. Go ahead.
Other than the sales tax extension, do you see any kind of new taxes that fill these big holes in the budget?
Well, this is one of the things that I think is the benefit of running a campaign, at least in my perspective, maybe not all of yours, but at least in my perspective, that was idea-based and policy-based. Like the area of raising the issue of our legacy costs, in the campaign we provided, at least, and I think I've been around politics, a very detailed explanation of my budget. And it came to balance without any revenue increase. I think we've been through a campaign where I also believe I laid out 3 affordable tax cuts, eliminating the per employee head tax. It costs us more jobs than it does revenue. As I said in the campaign, I want to repeat, the first thing that the Ford plant on the south side raised with me as one of the things, the reason that plant does not get a 3rd shift. There were 3 different things, but the first thing was the employee head tax. Second, let me just finish. I'll be right there, Jen, although other people haven't asked. So, second, I talked about changing the natural gas tax from a percentage of price to one of per unit. So when you either have a spike in natural gas prices or you have a rate increase, like what People's Energy is calling for now, it is more affordable to middle-class families, and actually they would get a cut. I also propose, and I think you know this, a 20% cut in the sales tax, because I don't think working mothers and working families should be bearing the burden alone. The reason we have the highest sales tax in the country is because too few people on too few items are bearing it. So those who have corporate jets, those who have limos, those who join Saddle and Cycle, those who can afford an $85 mango facial for a dog should bear a little of the burden, so a working mother that I met today in 95th and Dan Ryan gets a cut. And the collective, both on energy and that, would help working families. I'll take one other question. Go ahead.
Mr. Mayor-elect, you talk about safe neighborhoods, and crime has actually gone down in Chicago consistently for several years, unless you live in a particular neighborhood. You have said that you would get rid of superintendent of police. And I was just wondering what you're looking for when you search for a new superintendent, and if you're looking for someone inside or outside of the department.
Okay. Look, now I've worked on this issue, as you know, extensively. Not only, but not just in the sense of helping pass the legislation, although I did, but development of the policy. Passing the Brady Bill, which was the first significant gun control legislation in our country's history in over 20 years, the assault weapon ban, the 100,000 community police officers program, the Violence Against Women Act, Megan's Law on community notification if sexual predator moves in, and then my own bill as a member of Congress that was signed into law as a part of the health care bill, which is the Elder Justice Act. The 30 years leading up to 1994 saw year after year increasing in crime, to the point that sociologists like James Hughes Wilson then said at the time that we as a country had to get used to violence crime at a level. In 1994, a new strategy was implemented. one that President Clinton and those of us in the White House worked on for him, of putting more police on the street, practicing community policing, not just quantity, but a philosophy behind community policing, supplemented and complemented with after-school programs. So kids were off the streets during the important hours of 3 to 6, where juvenile crime is up 2/3, backed up with tough enforcement of our gun laws. I want to bring that strategy here to Chicago and double down on it. And it understands primarily that the beat officer is the backbone of the police department. And I have nothing personally against the superintendent. Nothing. But in the time in which we've added 9 to 10 significant positions in the central bureaucracy, we have not added a single beat officer to the police department. I do not believe you beat crime through bureaucracy. I believe you beat it with the beat officer. And you beat it with also a comprehensive after-school program that deals with the children who become victims of gang violence between the hours of 3 and 6. I believe in passing more gun laws, but I'm not waiting for that, which is why I've called for the state's attorney here in Chicago to do what other state's attorneys have done and been an active participant in prosecuting gun crimes. That's what I am seeking. I will look for a superintendent who shares that philosophy, understands the importance of beat officers, and understands the importance of the beat officer to a strategy of working with the community. The key to neighborhood schools and community policing is the words neighborhood and community, because they assume the government, be that police officers or teachers, working with a parent or a neighborhood in keeping that area safe. You cannot do it alone. A teacher can't educate a child without a partner at the home. And a police officer cannot keep public safety if there's not a community involved working with the law enforcement community. That is the strategic, philosophical outlook. That is what I'm looking for from a police superintendent.
To restore morale, do you need an insider?
We're going to look at somebody who has the trust and confidence. One of the things, and I'll say this, Fran, we have gone through a period of time where our superintendent and the police department have been back and forth with each other. Yes, the results show a reduction in crime, but we still have a murder rate on a per capita basis in parts of the city double that than New York. We have made progress, but not progress enough, and I would not be satisfied with the progress we're making. The statistics are true. The quality of life is not. Now, I said this, and I think somebody at a different time in a different set of circumstances asked me what I learned in this campaign. I went down to Roseland to announce my crime policy for a reason. There's 126 names of children waiting to be put on an individual plaque because they were killed by gun violence. Memorials are for our soldiers, our police officers, because they have shown a level of sacrifice, a level of duty, and a level of honor for their profession. We are memorializing children for being children. That's not right. That's not who we are. Now, I want a police department, and I want a superintendent, and I want a strategy on crime that knows that while the statistics tell one side, I will tell you there is another side to that story. And I don't want to see what I have seen, what I have heard, and what I've been told. We have kids going to school. And I was at the Chicago Defender debate. They asked me to take a photo with 2 children. I did. And I asked them where they went to school. And one young lady told me where she went. And I said, well, how do you get there? Knowing full well that I've met many a kid along the process on the CTA or on the bus. And she says, I'm driven to school because it's not safe for me to get to school any other way. Now, you all think it's a soundbite, and I appreciate that. But my goal for this election and my goal for the 4 years and the measurement of my progress will be whether that child can be thinking of their studies and not their safety. Thank you.
Mayor, to kind of staying on the